national team dancing on Caitlin Clark logo at Carver Arena. Man, a lot of people had mixed reviews about it. Well, it looked like that wasn't the only clip because the entire team got in on the action, bruh. Got in on the jumping on Caitlin Clark logo, stomping on it, dancing on it, shooting from it. Oh, yeah, man, they had a mighty good time at Carver Arena, dog. Now, if you guys don't know, today is the day Caitlin Clark will make her return back in Iowa City to play at that very same arena, man. She broke that scoring record at. And I'm telling you right now, them doing this is very bad.
Clark in transition. Clark, pull up three. You bet!
What do you get when Brazil tries to roast Caitlin Clark? Instant karma, that's what. They messed with the wrong one, and the Indiana Fever went full juggernaut. They crushed Brazil like it was preseason practice. This wasn't just a game, it was part revenge flick, part comedy roast, and part highlight explosion. Brazil poked the bear, and the bear dropped buckets. They talked spicy, but Clark turned the heat up and left nothing but smoke. It was over before Brazil even knew what hit them.
Boy, oh boy, did that feel good. Did that feel good from Caitlin Clark opening up the game, pull up three, bang, to the logo three to close the third quarter, walking off to a standing ovation. Caitlin Clark pulling up from 36 feet out. From start to finish, there was never a doubt in our mind. There was never a time where we even thought to ourselves, is this game going to be close? Indiana comes out, 8-0 run. Close out the first quarter, close out the second quarter, close out the third quarter, sit our starters in the fourth quarter, and by the time it's all said and done, the Indiana Fever score more than double the Brazilian national team.
They really thought they had it, huh? Came in like superstars shooting a sneaker ad, sunglasses indoors, dripping with overcooked confidence. Brazil acted like they were about to give Caitlin Clark a masterclass. Bad move. That kind of swagger only works when you can back it up. But they forgot Clark isn't just good. She's the cheat code version of greatness. She racks up triple doubles like they're lunch orders, and Brazil brought nothing but bravado and blind faith.
Indiana Fever just utterly demolished Brazil in their first preseason game. It was our first look at Caitlin Clark in her second WNBA season, and she did not disappoint. She was raining threes, her handle looked tighter than ever, her vision was on point, and she brought this energy, and she brought the crowd, and everything was just electric because she was on the court.
Brazil hit the court like they were headlining Carnival, except instead of glitter, they brought bricks. You could almost hear dramatic music playing, like they thought they were the heroes in a comeback movie. But instead of a Disney story, they landed in a Tarantino script, messy, loud, and over before they could say defense. Clark wrote the plot, directed the scenes, and left Brazil stumbling through the closing credits.
Guys, as soon as the clock started, okay, pretty much, right? Caitlin Clark scores the first points of the game, and she gave us her classic three-pointer, okay, behind that the third-point arch line. And then after that,
Taunting Caitlin Clark? Genius-level disaster. If sports history has taught us anything, it's that poking the greats always ends in a montage of regret. Ask anyone who ever ran their mouth at Jordan. They're now permanent clips in someone else's poster reel. But Brazil? They smirked, sneered, and lobbed jabs at Clark like she wouldn't torch them with that exact energy. Spoiler, she did. Motivation achieved. Game over.
At making Caitlin Clark's iconic shot.
Look at Lil.
oh, so much.
And they look bad doing it, bro.
If you're enjoying this, hit subscribe. Brazil treated Caitlin Clark like she was just another American player. But she's not. She's a human missile with a jump shot. They threw shade, and she returned it with a Category 5 ego storm. She didn't just play. She hosted a clinic, signed lessons mid-dribble, and reminded them who they were dealing with. Clark had time to flex, finesse, and check the scoreboard like it was a group project she aced.
108-44, Caitlin Clark. Did she look rusty? I don't know. 16 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, plus 42, plus minus in only 19 minutes of hoops. Caitlin Clark hoops are back. She looked good, folks. She looked good.
The Indiana Fever didn't even need magic, just gave Clark the ball and cleared the lane. Even that was too much for Brazil's so-called defense, which looked more like melted jello, trying to guard Clark. Like catching vapor with a soup spoon. One Brazilian smirked after a lucky shot, only to watch Clark jog down and bury a bomb from international waters. Instant karma, next day shipping. The universe had jokes, and Clark delivered the punchline.
And honestly, I didn't plan to shoot that logo 3. I know coming into the game, everybody wanted me to shoot one from there. But Steph was like, was supposed to come out at the end of the third, so she's like, give a foul, give a foul, give a foul. And then it was 30 seconds on the clock, which like between 30 to 33, that's like your 2-for-1 range where you have to get one up. So I saw 30 as we're inbounding the ball, which probably is inbounding the ball at 30, probably a little low. But I was like, why not? Might as well launch one, and it went in, and then Steph used the timeout to get me out. But yeah, that was pretty fun. And like
Brazil tried a full court press, which was adorable. Looked more like people chasing a balloon in a mall. Clark didn't sweat. She floated, danced, used defenders like practice cones. The Fever bench? Losing their minds. Not cheering, acting like Broadway was in session. One player almost passed out. Another waved a shoe like it was a surrender flag. When your bench is partying like Mardi Gras after every bucket, you're not just winning. You're delivering performance art.
The logo threes, I know this is an exhibition, but those logo threes beyond the logo threes for Caitlin seemed like prime examples of you and her teammates kind of letting Caitlin be Caitlin, so to speak. How do you balance that? And did it start like that, or did you kind of have to get off the reins a little bit, for lack of a better term?
I've been watching her do it for 4 years, 5 years really, so that's just who she is. It's what she does. I mean, nobody tells Steph Curry not to take good shots, right? But I do think that, sometimes there are time and score situations. Sometimes there are, we've just had 3 or 4 empty possessions. So really understanding the right times, understanding the moments. She knew she was coming out of the game, so she was going to take that logo 3. So it was, it was a good momentum builder, and of course what everybody wants to see from Caitlin, especially in this arena.
Brazil's coach looked like they opened the wrong GPS plans crumbled like wet paper towels. They called timeout after timeout, scribbling madly, like geometry would solve Clark's 3-point arc. The only shape they should have studied was the circle, the one Clark kept filling. The real comedy? Post-game spin. It's a learning moment. Sure, and the Titanic was an unplanned swimming lesson. When you get flattened that badly, growth is just the PR version of we got cooked.
I know they said on the broadcast it looked like she doesn't have like the same burst that she used to have. She got by the defenders fairly easily in my estimation. She got by the other team's players fairly easy in my estimation. She moved pretty quickly in my estimation. If that's a step back with some tightness, what are we going to look like when we don't even have anything lingering in our legs at all? When we don't have to go onto the bike just to keep ourselves loose at all? What is that really going to look like? Caitlin Clark picking up right where she left off. If there was any question, yes, she's like that. Yeah.
Some Brazilian fans said, it's just an exhibition. Yeah, and a knockout at a party still counts. Clark wasn't padding stats. She was waging mental warfare with a step-back jumper and a smile. Brazil's offense? A comedy show. Missed layups, phantom passes, and air balls galore. Looked like they were playing blindfolded. Shot clock violations caught them off guard like they just remembered clocks exist. Brazil didn't run an offense. They ran interpretive chaos.
Besides the superstar backcourt, everybody on the Fever was cooking today. Look, you had Lexi Hole raining threes. You had Sophie Cunningham coming with the energy and the effort that we are becoming accustomed to seeing from her. We saw Natasha Howard and Aaliyah Boston be paint beasts down there. They manned it down there. And you also saw Michaela Timpson. She had 9 points. She looked really good.
Clark, meanwhile, was reinventing the art of humiliation. No-look passes, crossovers that deserved an apology, and threes from outer space. Every bucket was a reminder of the earlier trash talk. The crowd, devouring it like a Thanksgiving feast, Brazil as the turkey. Their pre-game swagger evaporated. Post-game quotes? We underestimated them. We didn't execute. Translation: we poked a flamethrower. One player's ankles are still missing. Google Maps is on the case.
That. But all in all, Caitlin Clark with a plus 42. She played 18 minutes. She played 18 minutes and was plus 42. Plus 42. 42 in 18 minutes. And there was a stage where it was her with all the rookies and she was still just carrying them. She got 2 assists to, I think, to win Yvonne Egypt. 1 foul, 3 turnovers to 5 assists. And again, the turnovers were just trying mad stuff. Like, it is what it is. I don't really care that much. But in 18 minutes, she had 16, 6 and 5. Like, that's so impressive on 60% shooting and 4 of 6 from 3.
Brazilian fans tried coping online. It's just one game. Bless their hearts. That's not a comeback. It's denial with Wi-Fi. And the memes? Ruthless. One called Brazil Clark's cardio session. Another said their defense was like a chocolate teapot. Someone captioned Clark walking into the arena as Brazil's worst nightmare. Even refs started side-eyeing each other by Q3 like, should we stop this? But Clark had a message to send, and she sent it in capital letters and flames.
Was moving the ball around a lot. The offense looked way better today against Brazil than it did against the Mystics for obvious reasons. If this team, can play anything close to this is a much improved, very dangerous team. It is.
And just then came the Fever social media team, cold-blooded. The post-game highlight reel, a war crime in slow motion. Clark raining threes, defenders spinning like malfunctioning robots, and the scoreboard flashing L after L. Brazil's account went ghost. This wasn't basketball. It was public schooling. A global example of how not to approach a superstar. Clark's been rewriting record books longer than Brazil's bench has known what a zone defense is. Respect was demanded and delivered.
Caitlin Clark got to cooking right out the gate. You see her bring it up the court, come off this double screen action involving Natasha Howard and Aaliyah Boston. She is this falling away three-point shot, dude. That is super difficult. We have become accustomed to shots like this from Caitlin Clark, but you have to understand that no other player in the WNBA is doing this.
You could have given Brazil LeBron, Diana Taurasi, Prime MJ, and Steph with a Ted Lasso pep talk. Clark still would have hit a logo 3 and winked at the camera. This wasn't a win. It was a statement wrapped in fire and tied with a bow of swagger. Brazil's game turned into a blooper reel. Future teams? Take notes. Before you trash talk Clark, book a team meeting, dim the lights, fire up a slideshow. How not to get humiliated. Slide 1. Don't poke the sniper.
And not only that, every single one of her threes were from a minimum of like 28 feet. None of them were catch and shoot threes. She was being face guarded in an exhibition game. They were face guarding her. So we saw a few days ago with Paige in preseason, they're leaving her open. People are like, oh, why are they going to guard her hard in preseason? She was being face guarded. Every time she didn't have the ball, they were denying her. They were blitzing her off screens in an exhibition. This isn't even preseason. This was a literal exhibition game. It did not matter. They were playing a national team. It was an exhibition game, and they were blitzing her. And she still came out in 18 minutes with 16, 6, and 5.
This wasn't just a loss. It was a clinic in humility. Brazil entered Somberetti, high-fiving like it was carnival. They left like they'd been hit by a memory-driven missile. Clark walked in with receipts, left with Brazil's pride tucked in her sock like a souvenir. She's not just a scorer. She's a thunderstorm in sneakers. Brazil didn't just lose. They got dissected on live TV. Clark hit practice threes, dropped dimes like cheat codes, and stared down defenders like x-rays. And she saw everything.